I was basically Clinton Morrison's security. She's like, I said, do you fancy coming out for a drink and that sometime? She says, oh, what are you going to do? Ride to me on your mountain bike. I had a bit of a protective nature for him because he was the most mouthiest. Like, you'd want to punch him in the mouth because he's so mouthy. He's picking up everything he can find in the treatment room to throw at me. So me, Hux, we're all like this. There's TVs in the prison. So when I'm all over the news and I'm walking in, they're expecting me. Oh, don't think you're some flashy footballer coming in here, da-da-da-da-da. And I've thrown 2 punches and he's dropped. You have to go through the storm in life. When you go through the storm in life, you never come out of that storm the same person. How you respond, that's where your power is.
Gentlemen.
Hi, Chris.
Yes, good. You?
Chris?
Yeah, good.
I'm going to turn to face you because I feel like I'm being a bit rude.
Yeah,
You all right?
good. We're at the Fans Museum.
We are.
It's in Sunderland.
It's bringing back memories for me.
Yeah.
World Cup.
Oh, we did
World
the World Cup
Cup.
videos.
We're here, weren't we?
Yeah.
Gareth Southgate. Chubby Michael Owen. What are you dressed as?
I don't know. It's myself.
Probably a twat.
Yeah.
I think I had Paul Ince's shirt on one of the games.
You did, yeah.
Massive.
It was.
Bloody hell, what's that, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Will be.
Oh, it's all coming back.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks to Michael Ganley, who's let us use it. They've done a good job, haven't they, since?
Yeah.
Gone heavy on the filler. Have you got a shirt in here?
They've got big hitters in here.
Yeah. Have you got a shirt in here?
Oh, aye. Funny you should mention that.
Oh, yes, I know.
I thought you were never going to mention it.
No way.
Where's Spins as well, look.
Wes Brown.
So you
Get the badge in.
can I where's it, Stone Island? So what we're saying
It's got
is
some dust on it, that's fresh out of attic. It's not been on... Has it been on...
Come through the door, round the corner, and that's the first shirt you see. They said it wasn't tactical because they knew we were coming, but next to there's Beckham. Who else is on there?
Fuck off, you
Pele.
next to Beckham.
Pele.
Pele. Yeah.
I can't believe that in a Sunderland museum there's a shirt from the, at the time, lowest ever points Premier League total team.
16 points. Old Trafford, that.
I've heard that they've just taken down Martin O'Neill's underpants and put your foot in there with your rifle.
So you obviously you know the lads here, don't you? Yeah. So do you think that might have a little influence?
Nah, I hadn't spotted them. I promise.
Yeah.
You think that might have a little bearing on why your shirt's up in the...
So with that
Like,
match one, do
match
you
one.
remember, like,
Yeah, 0-0.
remember the game 0-0?
0-0 Old Trafford.
Phillips, Quinn, Pele, Beckham, Owen, Brown. Fucking 16 points. How many goals that year?
It stands out like a sore thumb in that little thing, doesn't it?
How many goals that year? Can you remember?
Us.
You.
1.
Team?
Pass.
9. It can't be double figures if you got
We
fucking...
were hard to beat, but didn't score many. I think.
It's nice, though. They've got it in here.
Very
Good
nice.
for you.
I can't believe you...
I didn't even know that at
I
all.
can't believe you remembered to bring it. You know, when I messaged you this morning saying, take that shirt up, we'll put it in the intro. But fair play for remembering it.
That's when you know you've made it, the way you get a full wall. Super Kev.
It were God up here though, weren't he?
Is he an ambassador here, Kevin Phillips?
He's manager at South Shields. But
Oh, right, Sam Shields.
Yeah, he runs the bar.
What's he doing season coffees down front?
he's got all these awards in that. Look at that, man.
But just to let you know, I reckon I might get in that
What? Mine?
Michael Owen shirt again.
Not a chance.
I'll get in it now.
He's a
for
new
World
man.
Cup.
You not tell? On a serious note, can you not tell I've lost some timber? Just yes or no?
Where can you feel you've lost it? Tits?
Ankles. I feel as though I've lost quite a bit round my ankles.
No, yeah, because your T-shirt fits you. Usually, it's a squeeze. So you've either lost a bit or been shopping.
I don't mind getting stick off certain people, but off you on ill-fitting clothes, I'm not accepting that. I don't think I've ever seen anything that actually fits you properly.
Why? What's wrong with this one?
Just there's a hole in the back.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with it fitting me, is
Well,
it?
no, but
It's got my dinner down it. That's my new diet.
What,
Put
just filling it?
put half of it down my front.
yeah. What you
Paying
want?
off the winner.
Oh, fucking hell, not half. See my penis? It's a
Can
bonus, yeah. Still as small as what I remembered.
I mean, them jeans are normally snug, to be polite.
Tight.
And he got out for some petrol and just give it one of them, Chrissy. 2 inches worth.
Straight down.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants any 40/38 long jeans, just get in touch. You can have them.
Or a temp for the kids.
Come on, Chris. Iggy last week.
Hey, it went down well. It's a good episode. The Ravenelli stuff, one.
It blows my mind every time that we talk about the players that Middlesbrough actually had.
Yeah.
Like, they proper had a bash, didn't they?
I'd like. He's on the list, I think. I mean, we'll never get him on, but I'd love Fabrizio. I'd love a sit down.
I don't think I'd have liked him.
No, me neither.
it's
I know Higgy did get on with him, didn't he? But
Yeah.
not for
I
me.
still kind of like him though. That
Just
Well,
sheer
you
do
do
like
like you do like
an
arseholes,
arrogance
though,
of
don't
a
you?
certain level where
Yeah.
you just like it's an honour for me to drink from your dairy. I tried it with ours last week. Got egged.
I never get it. It's an honour for you to eat kebabs from our shop. Well, they'll be going out of business. Now, let me tell you.
Not anymore, John.
No.
Not anymore.
But no, another great episode.
Yeah, really good.
good storyteller, wasn't he?
Yeah.
First time I've
Plenty
met
to
him.
go at.
I nearly got him the sack.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I've seen that on Twitter the other day. Fuck me,
Paul
you're lucky.
Axton, didn't
I
I?
didn't think it was that bad.
Did you not?
You what?
Oh, good
See, that's
old-fashioned
exactly-
English centre forward. Getting
That's
in,
exactly
getting a bit of rough and tumble.
That's exactly why we should listen to nothing that he says on football or his opinions or anything. You didn't think it was that bad?
No, he just got in.
Fucking hell,
Making his presence known.
Keeper got a neck brace on.
That's what it would have said in the paper.
Yeah.
Brown made his presence known at the back post.
Exactly.
In other words, I fucking cleaned him out.
To be fair, you run off as though you'd scored and all.
You did.
Eh?
Were you
I did.
who were giving it guns? Someone were giving it guns.
Shane Duffy was giving it the absolute big one.
Yeah. So
Last
to be
minute, that
fair,
though.
to be fair, you didn't score for Blackburn, but you had an hand in one goal.
That was my biggest contribution. Foul and big, didn't he?
Imagine when it panned to the bench and you could just see him going, really?
That was my debut, that I think. First game.
Making your presence known, first job.
Went rapidly downhill.
So that's why you went off celebrating as though you'd fucking
Go
won
out
the
with
World
the
Cup. That's why you've signed me, lads. That's why you've signed me. To knock the fuck out of goalkeepers.
Another one, Karanka, man. He's
I know, yeah.
Before we did Stewie, I'd have said he was
well thought
really
of.
good to play for.
Yeah.
And well thought of, but
Evidently not.
He's getting Blackwell-esque.
yeah.
I would say he's up there Blackwell-esque.
There haven't been that many people speak well of him, has there?
No. I'd like to see his little shit book.
I was going to say his penis, his little perfect penis.
Not that as well. But his book. Remember his book?
Yeah, the black
If you
book.
piss him up, he'll write it down, his little jotter.
Yeah, he's not. He's on the shit list, I think, isn't he? Certainly.
Leon Mckenzie this week. Now,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a different episode, I feel, this week.
Yeah.
It's incredible that he's made it to the heights of what he has in two different sports.
Yeah.
Not many people can claim to have done that.
No.
He was a good player, by the way.
Yeah, he were.
Palace.
Palace, Charlton, Norwich,
Coventry.
Coventry.
I can just remember him being very aggressive.
Yeah.
I think that
Not the
obviously,
tallest.
Boxing side coming out as well.
but I think I can just remember
Like
him,
making his presence known.
basically a Paul Axon goalkeepers.
Yeah.
But I can remember him just being fast and aggressive.
The thing is, what I took from it, his troubles have been well documented, haven't they?
Yeah.
That he had post-football, post-boxing. But it was more like on the day, actually, I don't know if we were on air or after, he was like, I woke up this morning, I just didn't want to do this. And I think you could kind of feel it, and
He
that
actually
just-
messaged me. Did he message me the day before?
yeah,
Because we were down in London for a couple of days, weren't we? Well, when it was fucking boiling, if
Red
you
hot.
remember. The train went like 15 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Took us a day and a half.
And you could see he just looked a little bit drained, didn't he? And fair play to him for coming and speaking so openly about his troubles, more importantly.
Well, that's it. I think he messaged you the day before.
Yeah, saying I'm struggling for tomorrow.
Struggling for tomorrow, not really giving a reason. And I think we said, we're down, we're already down. And I think if he'd have said why he didn't want to come, then we'd have been, yeah, no problem, we're on. But we're like, we're down here. And because he didn't want to disappoint us, like you said, he mentions that he didn't want to come, but he came.
Yeah.
But he mentioned after saying, I'm really glad I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just obviously the how some people feel on the day, isn't it?
And I kind of, during the episode, there wasn't really much about his football. It was almost he wanted to get a message across in a way, or get what he went through, the bad side of it, the mental struggles and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I tell you what, I wouldn't like to get a fucking right hook off him.
Nah.
If Leon says it's Tuesday, it's Tuesday.
Even if it's Wednesday.
Or Thursday. Either or. No, he's... I think he's in a decent place now, so...
Yeah. Like you said, incredible that to finish a football career and then just go into another sport and...
Not only go into it, like...
Excel in it.
But really, be successful at it. I mean, it must hurt, that boxing, money. Even like when you're training and you're sparring, you're still getting hit in face, aren't you? Like, it must hurt.
We need to get you in the ring, man. You and Boothroyd.
Oh, fucking hell. No gloves.
When you go by knuckle.
Stick them up. Stick them up.
Put him up.
I felt like Scrappy-Doo then. You remember Scrappy-Doo? Let me at him! Let me at him!
I can just picture him, man. The shorts.
Big uns.
Big uns. Union Jack.
Starting there.
Belly button eye. With beast on the front.
I just think like a shit Tyson Fury. Waltzing around. Because you're quite nimble on your feet, aren't you?
Fucking am I. Wait till this Undr The Cosh, mate. You know when this Undr The Cosh takes off and it gets big? Wait until I'm on Strictly. Fucking hell. I'll be swinging some Russian dance around like fucking Travolta. Don't worry about that.
Going to get some more live shows in, aren't we?
Yes.
We've
There's whispers in the wind of some more live shows early next year.
Yeah, well, I was speaking to Chris about this actually. I don't think we need to do a tour as such. Just need to one a month and just pick a town.
Random to any town you want,
Right,
Chris.
yeah. It's nice of you to drop this in an intro. Yeah.
But
So we're doing one a month now next year.
well, you've
Coming
just
to a town near you.
you've just told us we're on about doing it, so I've just put it out there.
well,
If
so-
anybody wants us to come, and
see
you can
what
get
happens.
500 of your pals to come, we'll
Yeah.
come.
Yeah, someone did invite us to like the Isle of Skye or something.
Did they?
Yeah. He just said, I don't know who else will come, but I live here. It'd be great if you could. So,
Now the sky.
Jeff, we'll be in your living room sometime next year. Anybody else wants to turn up, give us a shout.
Let us know what we're having for us tea, Jeff. Isle of Skye, top of Scotland, isn't it?
Yeah, West Coast, is it? I think
Lovely
so.
part of the world.
Yeah, beautiful.
All blue.
Yeah.
But now it's fucking miles away.
Yeah. But maybe not, Jeff. You.
Yeah, Jeff, I tell you what, we'll invite you. You'll come to a show in Liverpool or Manchester, Jeff.
Should we get him in then?
Yeah, let's get him in.
Let's do it.
Pretty good episode, this.
I love to fucking
Your debut, was it in the Coca-Cola Cup? And instead of getting champagne for man of the match, you got a bike?
Basically, yeah.
push at him.
But I'll
it
tell you
true?
about that in a minute. It's it was a bit embarrassing, to be honest, but then I didn't know. It's funny because around them times, obviously, I've just broke through as a pro. And, I was like, oh, mate, this is the life sort of thing. I was just buzzing, like 17-year-old kid. And I couldn't drive. I didn't pass my test. I was sort of, doing naughty things, really, probably driving here and there without a license and that. But I was like, it got to a stage where I was like, I need to pass my test. But anyway, obviously, I broke through as a pro and then scored and all that. And then the actual prize was a mountain bike. And when you're like, don't want to be like ungrateful, but it's like, well, and they was like, oh, what am I going to do? Ride it home.
Really?
with my champagne bottle. Like I just was like, nah. Anyway, I think I gave it away. I gave it away, sort of.
Paid top dollar for them back where I'm from. 18 gears. Was it 18 gears or 21?
No, I didn't. I don't think I even checked it, to be honest. It was just like, and I think I was talking to one older woman at the time in the players' lounge bar. And this is when I passed my test straight away, and I was like, oh, she was like, lovely, mature woman. I said, do you fancy coming out for a drink? I'm only like a 17-year-old kid, do you know what I mean? She made my debut and that, so I'm sort of giving it a bit loud. She was like, I said, do you fancy coming out for a drink and that sometime? She says, oh, what are you gonna do? Ride to me on your mountain bike. I was like, I'll come back to you.
So did you get the champagne as well?
Got the champagne bottle, yeah. Got the champagne bottle. A few of them over the years.
Imagine that. Wash bag, champagne. I've just put the bike under my arm. walking out.
It was funny. It was funny.
Was Coppell your first manager then at Palace?
Cops was, yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Top man, yeah. Probably more of a mentor for me. Yeah.
I heard that a lot about him.
Yeah. Have we started, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, we have started. Okay, cool. Didn't realise. Yeah, more of a mentor. He was more of a mentor. He used to sort of pull me aside and have conversations with me because he saw that I had ability, but then he also saw that I could work on some things to help me get to that stage of maybe breaking through like quicker than normal. And he used to sort of pull me aside and say, look, Lee, when I sort of first signed for Crystal Palace, I just came from Sunday League. So when I first signed for Crystal Palace, I was on trial for about 6 months. Longest trial.
I was going to say that is a long trial, that.
Yeah, it was a real big test of character because, you know, you're thinking there can be so many doubts in that process of, you know, especially coming from like Sunday League and all the other kids are sort of like signed their YTS at the time contracts. And I was just a bit like, am I actually going to get this? But I had to keep sort of plugging away. So the mindset in that process of that 6 months was pretty brutal, and some of the doubts that crept in, but also trying to keep confident as well. But what Steve used to sort of do is to Mr. Right, because back then I didn't have like the best sort of first touch. I had to rework on really becoming like having a good touch basically as my career progressed. Understanding, how to sort of back into defenders, hold up the ball properly. No one ever taught me how to do these things, even to the point of like striking the ball. So we had like a wall in a Mitcham training ground, and he used to say, right, this is what I used to tell Righty. I used to tell Righty this, like hit the ball against the wall, let it come back to you, take a touch out your feet, bang it again. Just constant patterns of doing that. Same sort of predicament with little shooting drills by myself. It's look, grab one of the youngsters or grab one of your teammates, get them to go behind you, pin them, turn, shoot, sort of thing. All the time, constantly. I'd done that pretty much most days. If I missed a day, it was probably because of a reason or extra training we was doing, whatever. But generally, I'd done that most days. With sort of signing for Crystal Palace from sort of Sunday League level, where I was so far behind to everyone else. The kids in there, like I think there's a kid like Jason Harris. He was like scoring goals, had a bit about him, very fast, powerful. There was a few that are just like had a bit of know-how because they'd been in it a little bit. So I think one of the biggest compliments I can give to myself is not only was I a little bit behind when I signed for Crystal Palace, the way I caught on and literally observed and watched first team players and watched how experienced players hold up the ball, how they move. Dougie Freedman was probably around them times where he had a little bit about him in terms of how he plays. So very smart on the ball and his movement. So I watched him, how he rolled players, how he turned players, and he wasn't actually the quickest, but he could get away from just being smart, sort of thing. So all these things I watched and observed, and within 2 years, I became one of the probably, top youth team players.
Yeah.
With, as Crystal Palace
Was
held.
that something that you knew that you had to absorb, all taking that in from other players? Because we've talked before, haven't we, about some lads just come with that natural ability and they just do it.
Yeah.
And they relax. They don't work as hard as everybody else. Is it something that you wanted to be the best? Determination?
It's not that I'm going to be better than everyone else. My mentality is not like that. My mentality is I'm just going to be the best I can be. So because I've got like boxing in my blood, I've got like a fighting spirit anyway. My fighting spirit naturally comes out anyway. So we had like a manager at the time, Peter Nicholas, who was my youth team manager. He's a bit of a madman, to put it bluntly. Do you know what I mean? But we had a bit of like a love-hate relationship in terms of he knew how to get the best out of me, but he also knew how to kind of wind me up. And when I'm sort of angry, I'm one of them players that if I'm angry and you're playing against me, I ain't nice to play against. Do you know what I mean?
So yeah. So
You need that villain.
I just ain't I just.
No, someone to prove
I don't know if it's the fighting in me or what, but most defenders would generally come up. They know they're gonna have a game. Like they're not. It's not. I'm not just gonna be like, oh, can't be bothered. Like if I'm not having a good game, you're gonna feel me, sort of thing. Yeah. So I kind of incorporated that into my mindset in game. So when someone's saying, like, Leon, like, fucking come on, you, and cursing me and I'll be like, fuck, like, oh, come on, and you fucking show you. Do you know what I mean? Dickhead, I'll show you. Like, so I was a bit like that.
Do you think he
He saw that in me, so he knew he's gonna get a reaction.
Yeah.
So most of the time, I'd catch him secretly smirking when like I'd do something good, like, or I'd sort of and then they go, well done. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all psychology. But when you're at that age and you're young, as you know, Parky, it's like you're trying to learn all the time, and again, it was just really observing well, watching well. Like I used to watch Righty all the time, just the way he was and his movement and how his character is. Very much the same type of character, like nasty on the pitch. Righty was nasty, like, do you know what I mean? Even if you're mates with him, he's like, you're not my mate today. So it kind of worked for me, that mentality to be a little bit spiteful when I'm playing, and I've even Doos, obviously Doos one of my best mates, and we've played against each other a few times. But here, tell you, I'm not nice to play against. Like
friendships out the window when you cross the white line.
It's always love, but when I'm in that playing mood, it's just not. It's not personal in terms of what I'm doing. But I mean, we've had a few clashes, and I've elbowed him in his head. He's got an eye. He always reminds me about that. Always his lip or something. I think it might have been his eye. Always reminds me about that. Yeah, you remember that elbow you done? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's always kind of. But he knows me, like in terms of my character, and I just adapted that sort of spiteful nature. It was the way I played. I was very explosive. When I could run, when I could run, Parkin, you know what I mean? When I could run, I could move, man. Like, chase down lost causes, close defenders down, close fullbacks down, whatever it took. I'm just making sure I can cover that ground and work the best I can for the team. So fundamentally, it wasn't all about me. I just want to do what I can to help the team, but to also get me in a position where I can score.
Which manager do you think, you were saying about youth team manager knew how to get the best out of you? Which professional manager that you had got the best out of you in that way, where they knew how to deal with you?
Push the buttons.
Steve Coppell was a placid character. Very rarely he'd shout at me, like, very rare. But what it was with Steve is that because of his sort of nature and his character, I wanted to do well for him because it's like he wanted me to do well. And I kind of wanted to repay the favour in, I want to do well for you. I want to do well for this man. I kind of had that for him because he showed me that respect, but also put time into me when I was a youngster. And when I grew into becoming a player, you know, he was sort of still there and quite nurturing, and from a mentoring point of view, you know, pulled me aside still, you know, tell me I went, tell me I played well, what can I do? But you know what I mean? Just little things. And I respected that. So I always wanted to do well for him. Peter Nicholas was an experience. It wouldn't work for everyone, right? Did he get the best out of me? I'd have to say so, because I became one of the top youth. You know, I was competing with like Carl Court, Jason Ewell, Michael Owen, all around the same sort of time. Obviously, I'm playing for Palace. Owen's at Liverpool. Ewell's at Wimbledon at the time. Court's at Wimbledon. And we're the ones that are kind of banging in the goals. Do you know what I mean? Only until we went to Anfield, FA Cup, Youth Cup. We played Liverpool. First introduction of Michael Owen then. Knew of this kid, but in my head, I'm like, I'm the man right now from South London. I'm the man. Do you know what I mean? So cool, let's see what's going on. Anyway, obviously, we were at Anfield. Who pops up? Owen scores first. We go 1-0 down. I think, oh, hello. And he's absolutely sharp as, by the way. Like, whip it. You know, like when he first came through,
Yeah, you forget how quick he was.
Goal for England and that. I mean, that I even got, when I saw that goal for Argentina, against Argentina, I was like, this kid is, do you remember that?
Yeah,
I was like, what an occasion, do you know what I mean? Like, even if he done nothing, I was just like, wow, what a goal. Like, so I knew from there, I was kind of happy because I played against him in the youth, and there was something that I saw was like, wow, this kid is special. And he was just so sharp. Anyway, I did make it 1-1. Popped up, scored at the cop end. I was buzzing. I was like, yes. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like David Thompson was playing. Gerrard playing? I can't remember if Gerrard was playing. Carragher was playing. There was a few that were playing anyway. Made it 1-0, and then obviously Boy Wonder decided to pop in another sort of couple. So he scored a hat-trick. Shortly after that, I broke my ankle, so I couldn't play in the actual second leg sort of thing of the final. And then he scored another hat-trick anyway. So
It were good, weren't it? It were half decent.
just 2 hat-tricks. So that kind of made me...
You got a
that
garage
humbled
full
me.
of bikes.
So yeah, I'll just keep it in the south then.
Did you know this sort of anger and all that? Did it ever go too far on the pitch?
Yeah. There's been a few occasions where... I mean, I've had a lot of training ground bust-ups, to be fair. You'd only really know that if you've been in my teams and stuff. Youth team level, probably it all started, but there's only a few that knew I'd came from a boxing background. Because I'm not a push your weight about. I'm not a bully, so I'm quite, happy-go-lucky in that respect. But if you sort of...
Did some find out that you've come from a boxing background?
Yeah, so we had like Clinton Morrison, right? Clinton Morrison, as you probably know, he's doing a lot of stuff now for Sky and so forth, right? So I was basically Clinton Morrison's security. just to break it down, yeah? Because I had a bit of a protective nature for him because he was the most mouthiest. Like, you'd want to punch him in the mouth because he's so mouthy.
He threatened to shoot you, didn't he, John, on the field?
Threatened to shoot me.
Oh, did he? He doesn't own a gun.
Come to London, I'll shoot you, bruv. That's the exact words.
His mouth is his gun. Do you know what I mean? But I had a bit of a protective nature over Clinton because, I knew his mum very well, and there was something about him that I just felt that I knew him. I saw a deeper...
You knew the real Clinton.
I saw the deeper... What everyone saw was just like this mouthy, who does he think he is sort of thing, but I saw the other side. So therefore, I always was able to... We had like our fallouts, but Clinton would never step on my toes because he knows. Do you know what I mean? So we knew each other very well.
Yeah.
But what Clinton did do very well is that if he got someone like who's a bit bigger than him, he'd be like, yeah. If I'm there, after he's gone, yeah, it'll soon go behind me, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like so he's very smart in how he constructs everything. Trust me. But yeah, we had like like I said, I've known him since 14 years old, and we had one training ground incident where a kid called Sam Noonan got into it with him. I've tried to quieten it down, and then Sam obviously sort of tried to switch on me. Obviously in the background, Clinton's still like, and obviously, you know, and he's like, oh yeah, what, you trying to come for Lee now? Yeah, you trying to come for Lee now? You don't know what you're doing, da da da. And Sam's like thinking, oh, shut up, like, I don't care. Sort of was giving it like that, because his pride's hurting or whatever. Yeah. And then I think Sam just went he got a bit too excited, and he's kind of like gone sort of for me, and I've thrown 2 punches and he's dropped. And everyone's like, oh, and obviously no one really knows a lot about me in that sense. He's got up again and I've gone bang, bang again.
Is in the dressing room or
outside the pitch? Steve Coppell was there. A lot of first team were there. A lot of people were there. So he, after the last 2 punches, he sort of like, when someone gets up and's like,
I'll leave it at that.
All right. He sort of bit his bottom lip. He's like, bit his bottom lip, and it was like, okay, I think I have to let this one go, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So that got split, and then obviously Clinton was like, like even making it worse. Like, oh man,
I can just imagine Clinton look like you're going. Are you gonna let him speak to me like that?
Yeah. He just very like that. But honestly, Clinton is Clinton. We still, still to this day, we've got like a very kind of good relationship in terms of we both know what's going on. Do you know what I mean? In each other's lives, and I'm glad to see he's doing exceptionally well with the TV stuff and that, because it was something I never thought.
Yeah, he's flying with it, isn't he?
Go into, but this is where life's beautiful, So yeah, he's doing right. I had another situation as well at Palace where Coppell and all the first team were there actually, but I was still actually in the youth team, but I was just breaking through into the first team. So there was a South African goalkeeper, right, who was sort of signed for Palace. I can't remember his name, Umshaw, I think. I remember. Clinton will know. By the way, he's a CFAX, by the way.
Clinton?
Clinton knows. Mate, you ask him who's this player in Italy and he'll tell you.
Really?
That's why he's doing so well. In terms of why he's able to he knows every player, mate.
That surprised us, like. Didn't think he'd be like that.
Oh, smart. Like, even when we was in the youth team, he would be like all over. I'd say like, because I'm not very good like that. That's probably why I don't do all the TV stuff in terms of football, because it's not. Although I played 18 years in football, it's not actually my passion, which not many people would understand. Like, obviously, boxing is my passion, but football's not. I don't enjoy watching it, really. It's a big game. It's a massive game. I'm watching it, sort of thing. I love it. It's my life. But in terms of sort of like actually going on TV and doing what he's doing, he's able to do that because, I can't pronounce the names anyway.
So I'm saying, mate.
A lot of the time, I struggle to like pronounce the names. I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't recognize this name. Who's this name? And it's not because I'm disrespecting my own game. It's just like there's a lot of names that if you don't do your homework properly, you'll get found out. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna like be fake. Like, I'm not gonna, if it's not my passion.
It plays up front for Tottenham.
You know what I mean? It's like there's very.
It won't work well on TV.
But yeah, he's very.
It's gonna be falling out, Jim. Jeff.
Very, very smart. But yeah, coming away from it. Sorry, South African kid. So South Africa, it maybe came from a bit of a racist cultural background, but he's in South London now. Do you know what I mean? And I remember it was a bit heated in one. We was having a five-a-side, mixed first team and so forth. Loads of sort of players playing. Remember, like Richard Shaws was playing, George Endar. Do you remember him? Yeah, a few people playing. I think even Bruce was playing. and he must have kicked the ball up to me. But you know when someone pings the ball into your bucket, and it's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that?
I used to get quite a bit.
Like, what is that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just feed it into me properly, sort of thing. Anyway, that happened a little bit, and he's gone to me. Fucking hold the ball up, you black bastard. That's what he said. You know when everyone's a bit like, obviously, because we're in, like I said, we're in South London now. And he said it in his South African, or maybe it's normal to him, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I had to pause, and I was like, did he really just say that? Like, really? So everyone's looking at me like, and then something just clicked. So I was up the other end as obviously striker. I've run all the way to his goal, all the way, and just went bang, bang, like that, dropped. Got up, looked me in my eyes, and I said, please, it's not today, mate. Not today. And he didn't do nothing. And then Cops was just like smirking on the side. And even Steve said, you should have done your homework. You know these voices? You should have done your homework.
Did you get an apology?
Yeah. I got an apology. You know, that's the Palace situation. Then I had another situation in Norwich. Which
You asked about that.
you
Damien Francis.
No, who told you about that? Damien Francis was one of my mates. This is the only thing about football, and I'm glad I'm here to sort of rectify it. So I was going through a divorce and that at the time, in obviously in Norwich. It was a hard time, mate. You know what I mean? Just going through it. And what happened where I was going through it, I broke Damien Francis' cheekbone in training. Just a straight clash. We were mates. From that, because everyone knew I was going through the divorce, whoever done it, people made a rumour to say, oh, Leon broke Damien Francis' cheekbone because he's had an affair with Leon's wife. What? It's my mate.
These whispers.
Yeah, like, you know, like, even Damien's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, it was a straight, just casual clash in training.
Nobody mentioned that. They just said what happened between you and Damo.
We've always been, even still to this day, we've always been cool. Like, there's no animosity, no nothing, no disrespect. But you ask Damien yourself, you think you could even talk to my wife like that? you wouldn't be living. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna step on my toes in that respect. Knowing me, like nah, you're crazy. No, even though it has happened in our lifetimes. But yeah, the actual fight I had, Hux was in the room, Dean Ashton was in the room, in the treatment room. A player called Yusuf Safri. Do you remember Yusuf Safri? Centre midfielder.
He was there when I went to Norwich.
Yeah. Good man. But he's a little bit tapped in certain places, you know what I mean? He was a little bit of a live wire. I mean, he was laying down on the treatment bed, and I was quite boyish, so I was quite, how you doing? Like, da-da-da. So he's on the treatment bed, and I must have like tickled him or something. Like, what's happening, mate? Blah, blah. And he was like, oh, fuck off, get off. Like that. I was like, all right, mate, like, relax. Do you know what I mean?
A tickle.
Dickhead. Do you know what I mean? Like, just like, fucking hell, relax yourself. Like, cool. And he's like, no, fuck off. And me, because can be quite antagonising, so I've just aggravated him again. I said, oh, shut up, you dickhead. Do you know what I mean? And he's like kind of switched on me.
He's not done his own work either, has he?
He's obviously like, he's just absolutely lost his shit and switched on me. So he's come out in it. Obviously, he's like, I see it, and when I get like in that, I feel like I get backed up. I see it, bang, like I know what to do, like where to, and then I see it, bang, hit him. Put 4 stitches in his ear, and like, he's lost his shit, throwing ultrasound gel at me and he's picking up everything he can find in the treatment room to throw at me. So me, Hux, we're all like this. Like, and I'm sort of on the bounce like this, come on you. Do you know what I mean? It's like that bobbing and moving from ultrasound gel. I was like, cheers, mate. Anyway, Nigel Worthington was the manager then. And he called me in the office first. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I've hit Safri because of this, that and the other. And he's like, I'm going to have to fine you. It was like 500 quid or something at the time. I'm going to have to fine you. Didn't fine me.
Just said that you were gonna.
So he said he was gonna, but he didn't fine me. He fined Yusuf.
What, to pay for the ultrasound gel that he wasted?
I have no idea, but I think generally because they know, like, when it's like for sort of a kind of a bit of a threatening self-defense situation, they just know, like, it's like, is no one really understanding, like, I'm just not that guy, you know? Not saying I'm the baddest, that, you know, listen, I've been to prison and there's badder people than me, do you know what I mean? But in terms of being able to look after myself, that reputation I just felt got out a little bit more as the years went on in my game. Because you do, like you say, you start hearing, you know how players talk, little bitches, isn't they, players? You know what I mean? So they start you know, they start talking and, you know, this rumour gets out, that rumour gets out. And, you know, I had a few altercations with Guy Branston.
Yeah?
Yeah, I wanted to fuck him up. He spat at me one game. I was at Peterborough at the time. He spat at me. No, I was at Norwich. He was playing for Rotherham. And he sort of spat at me. And I just went for him in the tunnel. But we never, like, sort of got connected. And it was just the honest truth from my heart about, maybe 4 or 5 years later, I get on a train. Guess who's sitting on the train on his own? Right in front of me as I'm walking on the train. I think I must have been going somewhere from Norwich or something. Or maybe his connection, Peterborough, whatever. He's sitting on the train. But I don't forget. Yeah, so Guy, you know what a guy's like, anyway. He sort of seen me, he was like, oh, how you doing, mate? Like, blah, blah. I said, mate, do you want to finish that altercation? I said to him, do you want to finish that altercation, like, right now? He's like, oh, don't be silly, mate. Don't be silly. I'll just, like, in a moment or whatever. I said, are you sure? Because I'm still sort of holding on to it a bit. So just to make sure, do you know what I mean? Ever since then, good as gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since then, good as gold.
Like, he was praying for that whistle to go on the train to take off, wasn't he? Well, that whistle big, hurry up.
Were you one that make a list? Would you make a list of vendettas? You know, because we talk about some people leaving it.
No, don't make a list. But I believe in that meeting was supposed to happen because now there's no teammates around. Now there's no one to stop anything, and in my head I'm just like, well, now it's just me and you. Do you know what I mean?
So you're willing to get off the train and have a
No, I was ready to. I was ready to.
Oh, on the train.
I was ready
well, to be fair, you don't know what time the next one's going to come, do you?
No, he was sitting down on the train, just like sitting down on the train, and I obviously saw him. So I was just like ready to sort of like, I was ready to fight, basically.
What could he start throwing at you? The drinks buggy and that.
Yeah.
Like, go full Yusuf on you.
But then there's a side to me. It's like when I see someone that's just like. Then I saw a side to him that was like, he's not that guy.
Not that person, yeah.
Did you sit with him on the journey?
He's not that guy. No, I didn't. No.
So did it make up that well?
No, it was well enough, but just you make peace and you know what I mean, go about it. But yeah, they're the only sort of altercations I've had I had a couple of situations when I went into prison just after football. So I had a couple of little situations in there, probably quite more scary, really, more than anything, because one of the guys was a big guy, massive guy. But I've just got a way of knowing where to hit and how to hit. But yeah, I guess you kind of just go through certain experiences in life and meet different types of people in all different walks of life. And yeah, it's just...
Was that unprovoked then? Did he just come for you randomly?
Prison, mate.
Is that what happens?
It's prison, yeah.
I mean, talk about this.
But you got to understand, when I'm getting in there, I'm not a criminal. I'm not bad. I don't claim to be bad. But I'm just coming out of professional football. There's fans in there. There's people in there. There's people in there can see me. There's TVs in the prison. So when I'm all over the news and I'm walking in, they're expecting me. Do you see what I mean? So you got to have a bit about you.
What's your mindset then? Going in?
Mindset?
Yeah. Are you like...
Did you know
I was petrified, to be honest.
Yeah.
Did you know when you went to court, did you know that you were going to prison?
No.
How long did you get?
I got 6 months in an ACAT Woodhill, where Charles Bronson is officially still.
See him?
Isn't it? Didn't see him, now he's tucked away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, he's still there.
Yeah.
He's still there. Yeah, it was in Milton Keynes, yeah. Nothing really can sort of prepare for you. I saw grown men fold. So when you're I didn't know I was going to prison, but when my lawyer said sort of like pack a bag, I was like, what the fuck what are you talking about, pack a bag? Are you all right? Like, that's when it really kicked in. So that night I didn't sleep because it was like pack a bag because I'm just not sure what they're going to do or where it's going to go.
What do you pack as well? Prison?
Well, they tell you what to pack, and if you once you get in there, they give you bits anyway. But yeah, it was hard, man. It was an experience that, like when I first sort of went in there, and you get sort of in this there's this sort of introduction room where you sort of go off to your wings. And I'm sitting in this room with all the other criminals, and we're all sort of looking at each other, and I'm seeing grown men like crumbling. And in my head, I'm like looking at a few of them, and I'm looking at one particular guy, and I'm like, mate, keep it the fuck together, keep it together, literally, I'm looking at him like this, come on, just relax, crumbled.
I think I would.
Crumbled.
Pretty boy like me as well.
I know.
Yeah, didn't see none of those sort of movements, but again, the Muslim culture is quite big in there. So I was, I didn't pay no one to look after me or protect me or anything. More rumours how did he, do you know what I mean? Didn't pay no one. It's just more of a respect thing more than anything. I was 33, 34 at the time going into prison, so I'm not a kid. So again, more of a respect thing, but the Muslim culture is very powerful in prison. And I kind of respected how I was looked after in terms of, read this book and read that book and kind of...
You're Muslim yourself?
I'm not Muslim, no. I'm not Muslim, but I respect a lot in terms of the culture. I've got a lot of Muslim friends, guys and sisters and so forth. So I just respect the culture, and then through the prison experience, I respected that even more so because, even when I was going through a few little difficult times, with a lot of kids in there, a lot of young kids in there, 21, 22 years old, they're the worst, mate. That generation is just, they're in there just to waste time. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. And that was the most concerning thing for me, seeing all these kids in there and just, they're doing crazy things, man. So yes, they're the ones. It's not the older gen. The older gen are very, there's guys in there. When we get our lockdown sort of thing, and our cells are open, your cell is open. Anyone can come into your cell. Whoever's on that wing, do you know what I mean? I've got guys coming into my cell, sitting down with me, and they're chatting to me. So I became a bit of a counsellor in there, to be honest. So a lot of people would come in, oh yeah, I remember your goal against Man United and blah blah, and just short. And you know when you're like, there's a part of me that's nervous, but at the same time I'm like, wow, these guys just want to talk.
Yeah.
A lot of them. I've had guys come in my cell and break down because they miss their kids. I found myself in this position of, so what that enabled me to do is start my sort of daily diary, because it happened quite early. So there was a respectful nature when I was in prison in terms of how people maybe looked at me or perceived me. It wasn't only the young kids when I first come in were like, oh, don't think you're some flashy footballer coming in here, da-da-da-da-da. But the best thing I'd done to that kid is that when we got a gym day, I remember booking the gym and I saw the same couple of guys who shouted out my name as I was coming into prison. And I went straight up to him in the gym and I said, what'd you say about me when I was coming through? Because I didn't hear. What'd you say? Like that bluntly. And he's like, oh no, don't worry, man, don't worry. Best thing I'd done though.
Yeah.
Shut them down straight away.
Yeah, best thing I'd done. Because obviously in my head, I'm like, I'm a grown man. My son's fucking older than you little dickhead. Do you know what I mean? Don't think because I've got football on my CV, I'm that guy. It's not that. So, and this is the interesting thing about, you know, how people can sort of stereotype our actual industry, you know what I mean? It's sometimes not great. It's the same thing when I went into boxing. When I went into professional boxing, everyone's thinking like, especially the fighters, you know, if he's just fucking footballer, another footballer coming in and trying to do, oh yeah, what? Because he's got, you know, his dad is, former British European champion, his uncle Duke is former 3-time world champion. It's not them, you're a footballer. All these things were going on. I had to earn my respect. Had to earn it. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, no disrespect to anyone, but with 4 years that I was in professional boxing, to really get to championship level at sort of best part of 39 years old, and I'm fighting for English titles and, you know, Southern area titles, like, it's some doing.
I can imagine.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm fighting guys who have been fighting all their life, experienced, and, you know, then it's not, every fight was hard for me because everyone wanted to beat me. Like, really, even from my first fight to all the way through, I had 11 fights, but all the way through, every fight was like, okay, this is gonna be tough again.
Did you always know you wanted to go into the boxing?
Yeah, I've always been a little bit fond of it because I've always had it in my life from early.
Was football always your main focus? Was boxing never? Was it?
Yeah, no, it was a crossroads. I had to make a decision. So the time I was about to sort of sign for Crystal Palace, I was going through that process, and then I finally got my YTS contract after 6 months being on trial. We was looking at maybe going down sort of like an amateur route, going through all the ABAs and just the whole system of competitions amateur-wise. And then I think I had the vision of maybe going down the Olympics route. I don't know. I was like a 16-year-old kid who was just trying to be somebody in terms of not just because my family are successful in their own right. I wanted to be successful in my own right. So it's something that I try and push into my children. I got 5 kids, 4 girls, 1 son, and I show them, you know, through all walks of life, you know, just try and be the best you can be and understand the process of what it takes and hard work. Because I've with all I achieve, you know, okay, football, boxing, 22-year period of elite level, really.
Is that distilled in you by your dad as well?
In both sports.
Parents.
I think it was installed in me because I saw how hard my dad trained just to be what he was. He was a 15-round fighter. 15 rounds, not even 12, 15. There was something, that I used to watch. I used to see him get up and stupid hours and go and run and train, and the way he used to train and how he used to fight. It left something. Yeah, it left something in me. And obviously, like, the Rocky film helped as well. Do you know what I mean?
You want the leather jacket?
We all think we're fucking boxers after watching Rocky,
it's probably like my favourite.
I'm like, on it, mirror.
It is, yeah. No, honestly, it's probably like one of my it's my childhood film, but it's probably one of my favourite. It's like a love story, like the whole thing, Adrian, and it's so smart the way he done it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think just trying to install that into my children and understand that.
When you retired from football, did you know that you wanted to go down the boxing?
No,
route?
like, honestly, but we'd have to do some amount of hours or podcast to really break everything down, but to try and cut it, to try and simplify it and cut a long story short, after football, I lost my way, really. Towards the back end of my career in football, my mind psychologically broke down. So I suffered from depression quite badly. And the reason that was just sort of back when we were sort of playing, there wasn't enough education around the whole mental health aspect of things anyway. And when I was going through some severe depression, towards the back end of my career, not being able to cope with, my body breaking down like it was and the injuries really just messed me up. I just didn't cope with it because I just wanted to play, right? So I'm getting all these serious injuries. I had some horrendous injuries. When I look at my 18-year career, probably half of that is just trying to come back to play. Do you know what I mean? And I still done all right. So it really messed me up. And then you go through what football doesn't teach you is the life circumstances that can happen, right? So it didn't teach me about divorce. It didn't teach me about missing my kids. It didn't teach me about, feeling lonely, feeling like quite vulnerable with my time, not understanding my actual past childhood trauma. I had a lot of trauma that I didn't really understand then.
Deal with.
I didn't deal with it. I deal with it in ways of, I was a bit of a ladies' man. Maybe dealt with it that way. Lost, a fantastic woman, my ex-wife, who has two of my children. Biggest lesson of my life. But, you have to go through the storm in life. When you go through the storm in life, you never come out of that storm the same person. And there's some things you can't control. And you got to understand that how you respond to the things that you can't control and so forth, that's where your power is, right? So what I learned in my life is that there's certain things that I need to take control of in my life and certain choices I need to make my life better. And that's where I am today, trying to make better choices, trying to make better decisions when I'm not, I have a therapist now. I just come out of rehab really in terms of just trying to understand me better. Why have I gone through so much struggles in life? Yeah, I've achieved so much, but always been quite vulnerable as a man. I've had a lot of things going on in my life. As you can probably hear, there's a lot of things where I'm like, you okay? Yeah, yeah. No worries. There's a lot of things that have happened in my life that I don't think most would have been able to see it through. And I'm just happy that I'm in a position now where, yeah, listen, some days still, even like, you know, I've spoken to you here and there, and it's like, even coming here this morning, like, I've been a bit vulnerable. I've been a bit in a vulnerable place of late. Again, very vulnerable this morning, but I was like, fucking hell, I better turn up because Parkin will fucking hammer me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I'm fucking quite under my fist myself, mate.
I
fucking hunted you there.
yeah, no, I just wouldn't do that out of respect, and I just thought like, and I nearly pulled out yesterday, but when you sort of sent me that message, I was like, no, I need to. But on a serious note, it's only because sometimes I go through certain things that are sometimes affecting me, so from a psychological point of view, and sometimes as men we find it hard to just discuss that, you know. And I've got that ability now to just be like, it's been a bit of a vulnerable few days or so forth. So that's probably why it's been a little bit, oh shit, am we going to get Lee or we not? It's never because it's sort of a personal disrespect or anything. It's just sometimes depression can grip me. Sometimes, you know what it's like, things might not be going well in other terms, other situations in life, and it can affect you.
You don't mind us asking, mate, how do you know, if you can feel, do you feel it coming on? I know when Chris Kirkland said he starts getting sweaty palms and he has his own little things that he does to get back.
Triggers.
Yeah.
I think a lot of his triggers, like I say, from my relationship's not going well, I can get quite triggered. If I don't see, maybe if I don't have therapy for a while, I can be easily triggered by lots of things, really. But I know, it's not necessarily I know when it's coming, it just can happen. Like, literally just like trigger, bang.
And how do you deal with that?
Like now, just take a deep breath and try and remember, like you say, try and take control of that particular moment, which is easier said than done. But like I say, I trained this morning, I still try and tick over.
Do you think that helps?
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps, but sometimes I literally don't have it in me to train. I literally can't train. I know it's the best thing for me, but I still can't train. I'm just like, I can't be bothered. I literally can't be bothered. And sometimes, but I will never stay in it for too long. I will never stay there for too long. I know, like, right now it's time. I've got to fight back. I've got to get up.
Recovery process.
I have to get up. I have to recover. I have to, you know, calm down or whatever it is. So I really try my best to just try and, trying to look after me the best I can. Like I say, I still got a lot of healing to do. I'm getting there, you know. It's all experience. Like I say, it's very true about what I say about, you know, life and obstacles that come at us, and, you know, some people deal with things differently, more so than others. And
it's the focus of, like, obviously you had football and then the boxing, you had the focus of that, and obviously your body can only do that for so long, can't it? And do you think that's having that focus is a recovery in itself, in a way?
I think anything in life, whether in terms of why you do this, it's always nice to have a bit of structure in your life and a bit of focus, and maybe just look forward to doing something that not only does it help yourself, but it will help others. It's nice to be able to hear people speak and hear their experiences, because I feel like that really makes a massive effect in what it is that you guys are trying to achieve, or whatever it is. I mean, I have a normal job aside to all the fancy stuff. I have no ego in saying I do security stuff. I manage security, guards, hotels. So I'm sort of doing that sort of from a stability point of view. But then I also do, you know, I've got my third series starting with Steve Harmison on Talk Sports soon. You know, I'm very passionate about my mental health speaking, so I try and get, you know, out to most places to do that. And just trying to inspire and save lives in terms of, like, I know that I'm very fortunate to be sitting here with you. So when you come through that other side, And you can look back and see, like, Jesus, like, you know, I could have left my kids, I could have left a lot of people that actually loved me. When you realize the value in yourself and you understand where you are yourself in your life, then it's easier to maintain what you've got to do when times are not great. Because things got worse after my divorce. Things did got worse. You end up going to prison as well, and you come out of there. I'm a little bit lost, and now there's no more football.
Were you a drinker? Did you turn to drink?
No, that's the thing. I didn't really drink. I didn't really do drugs. Smoked a few fags here and there, but other than that, not really. My main issue was women, in terms of how I deal with my sort of getaway. But to understand the nature of those particular habits, you really have to look deep into yourself to see, like, shit, why am I cheating on my wife? Like, because she's a fantastic woman, but I never looked deep into myself of what my depression was doing, my validation as a man, or like my self-worth. I didn't know really what was, I just felt like, this is just, let me just get away from feeling shit just for a brief moment. And that's how we deal with the pain and maybe the guilt a lot of the times. But with that, you can get into a pattern of kind of self-destruction. Mm-hmm. It's the same principle when people become addicted to drugs or addicted to drink. It's the same principle. They do that it's not always because they're just trying to be Jack the Lad. It's literally to numb something.
Yeah.
For that brief moment, or however it lasts from. The problem you have is that it gets to a point where you're waking up in the morning and you're fucking having a drink. You know, once you start, once you get in those habits, then it's very hard to break that cycle. And there's a lot of marriages that that don't survive. But I've held a lot of pain. I've held a lot of bad choices that I've made myself in my life. Well, I say bad choices, wrong decisions that have molded me into maybe the way I think now. Obviously, no one's perfect. I'm not far from perfect, but I've got a greater understanding on my growth and development in why, I know that I do get my therapy. I do try and make adjustments and adapt to certain things, and I think that's the main thing in life. Not to be so in this world that we live in. It's such a judgmental world that we're in. Everyone's so quick to judge and never really look at the reasons to why things are happening, or why is he this way, or why has this happened. It's always like, fucking hell. It's the judgment in this, and with social media now, we didn't really have social media when we was playing properly, but not really. But when we with this society now, and you got all the social media now, it's worse.
A quick word for our sponsors from this episode, gentlemen.
Who have we got, Chris?
We've got NordVPN, the best VPN service in the business.
Big brownie points as well. Somebody messaged, he went to Australia to visit family, and he unleashed the NordVPN and watching all the 3 p.m. games back home.
Oh, were they? There you go.
Unbelievable. He was over the moon.
Yeah, because for those who don't know, NordVPN, sponsoring the show, the best VPN service there is. You can bounce your location wherever you are in the world, so you can pick up them TV shows in different countries, and also, use different services that you might not be able to use.
And save a few quid in the meantime.
Yes, and military style security.
I wanted to say that this time, military.
Go on.
Military style.
I prefer it when you say it, John.
Military
Security.
style what?
Throw that little poop, that. Military style.
Security. And your password, your bank details, everything's secure.
Tell us the offer, Chris.
Are you ready for this?
I think I know it, but
4 months free. Absolutely free. And a 30-day money-back guarantee.
So no risk If you don't like it, you get your money back.
Yeah.
After before 30 days.
Yeah. All you're going to do is follow the link in the description, audio and on the video as well. The link's in the description, and just click on that link, clickaroo, and you're through to the offer.
And watch whatever
Undr
you
The
want,
Cosh
wherever
offer.
you are.
Kick back, Australia, watch the match.
Yeah.
I think it's admirable the way that you speak about it. Because the one thing that I think that we've learned from doing this is that talking's the only way, and the fact that you're such an open book, if you will, and you're willing to expose yourself. I
It's
suppose.
not really exposing myself because at the end of the day, like it's experience that I've been through. I'm not going to sit here and pretend.
Yeah.
It don't make no sense to do things like this and pretend to you all. Like everything I say is the truth. And I'm just trying to like keep it as real as possible because of course there's going to be things that, people that will see this and be like, like, I get it sort of thing.
Yeah, mate, I can relate to a lot of stuff that you're saying. I've fucked a lot of things up from my behaviour. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try to understand.
It's just, you know what? We all mess up, but it's just understanding why and kind of what you're gonna do to kind of understand what you need to do. It's took me to the best part of fucking this age to realise what I had, the value in what I had, being that I'm a family orientated man, but I never tackled my issues earlier enough. So a lot of things have just bottled up, and I've ended up crashing on numerous occasions. But again, when I'm not in good places, I just tend to sometimes just say fuck it, and then there's a self-destructive nature that comes into it. It's the same thing probably why I went to prison after football, because I was just making stupid decisions, like just careless decisions. But what people don't understand is when you're going through those really kind of mental health episodes and your mind is breaking down and you can't really control what it's doing, but it's happening, you'd be surprised the decisions that you make. They can be quite careless, but it's not because you're just trying to be a prick. It's because your mind is doing some acrobats and you can't actually control the way it's doing it, and you just try and find some sort of numbness or some sort of steadiness in it to try and control everything. Listen, I'm not trying to this is not, when I talk about this topic, sometimes people can kind of like wander off and get a bit like, oh fucking hell, here we go again. But it's so important because I know how it affects so many people in so many different forms. So it's not to be like, oh fucking hell, like, we've heard this story already. Like, we don't feel so. I don't want no one to feel sorry for me. Don't really. That's not why I speak. The main reason why speaking is because at the end of the day, I'm speaking because I'm not only trying to grow myself. It's not only like therapy myself, but I know that everything I've been through is for a reason in terms of putting me in this position to do that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if I was to keep everything to myself, then I feel like it's more of a waste of life in terms of just keeping everything to myself. Because no one else, there's people that might need to hear what I got to say. There may be a percentage that don't care, that's fine. But there'd be a bigger percentage that do care, and it could potentially save a life by just me saying something so honestly in the way I say it. So that's the reason why I say and do what I do around anything. Doesn't matter. I don't care about being judged. I don't care about who's got anything to say that's negative. Couldn't give a shit. But what I do care about is the people that I know that are fucking suffering and trying to find the way, just to try and find the way. That's it. That's the reason why.
We had a lot of people getting in touch with me, just telling us to say thank you because you've helped them. Thanks for speaking out and what have you. And
oh no, listen,
listen,
everything I do is from my heart. You know what I mean? It's not to come here. Like I say, it was an effort. to come here, but sometimes you have to make an effort in life, because like you say, even from this now, I'm so pleased that I made it here, because if someone's listening now, like you say, you know, and it's helped, that's good. For me, that's good. You know, that's something that's worth, you know, worth my while. And I think it holds a greater value.
You're working on the documentary at the minute.
Yeah, I've got a documentary coming, just to brighten everything up, guys. So, yeah, I've got a documentary coming called 10 Count. It's in Melbourne Festival, end of this month, actually. We're in a festival. We've got nominated to maybe win something. But so yeah, I'm excited. The documentary is literally my journey for obviously football, boxing. But I've incorporated mental health into the documentary. So I've interviewed athletes all over the world, from like Kelly Holmes, Ricky Hatton, Alan Shearer, Jamie
Focusing
Redknapp.
on the mental health.
Focusing on mental health being the main core.
Yeah.
And yeah, just trying to inspire, you know, just trying to inspire. Even obviously I interviewed The Rock, you know, Dwayne Johnson flew me over to LA, looked into this is another man. It's worth, you know, you always hear like, oh, what you got to be depressed about? And, you know, why are you depressed? Like, you know, especially when he's playing Premiership football, it's like, whatever, I've heard it all before. You got nothing to be depressed about. Okay, cool. So when I go to LA and I interview Dwayne Johnson, who's worth over God knows how much,
biggest stars on the planet,
this guy is openly saying to me, you know what? I have my episodes.
Yeah.
So it was only just like last Christmas, he had an episode of some real bad depression. Do you know what I mean? Openly said that. This guy's worth over 180 million or whatever it is. So money don't come into it, because we're all human beings. This is what people have got to understand. We're all human beings. There is no money aspect into this.
Yeah.
When your mind breaks down, your mind breaks down. It's just everyone's got different triggers. Your trigger's different to mine, mine's different to yours or whatever. We could have the same, right? So it's just understanding what triggers us and understanding what we can do. Because when you've lost people to suicide, like I have, right, you're being a greater level of understanding, of wanting to understand. The problem we have in society at the moment is that we've got ignorant people in the world, and it's like, fucking selfish or whatever it is, and don't do no education around what's actually fucking going on. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the reality. So, you know, it's a big deal. It's a big deal in terms of what it represents. It will probably be my biggest achievement than what I've ever achieved once it arrives in the UK. Praying that it lands into like a Netflix or Amazon. I'm praying that it lands into the right hands, and then that the whole world can see what I've been doing for the last 5 years.
It's good to shine a light on it, even for people that aren't going through it or haven't been through it, just to shine a light on it, because no doubt there'll be somebody within their immediate family or friends that is going through it. So it's not necessarily about affecting you directly, but the people that are around you to have a better understanding.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's it really. I just can't wait for it. Hopefully I get a release date at some point, but it'd be massive. I'll invite you to the premiere when it's here in the UK. I mean, I think you'd have to. You can't wear that t-shirt.
I'm not fitting male fellows anymore.
Yeah, no, definitely, man.
Good luck with it, mate.
Of course, it'd be great to bring, you know, people I've played against and that kind of know me from everything that I've done, but this is in a different kind of area, you know. So that's why I say sort of my biggest sort of achievement, because I think it will affect and help so many lives anyway. You know, it's great to score goals and knock people out. You know,
the ringer on a train.
Yeah, no, it's great. Those feelings are great, but when you get people coming up to you saying like, Leon, like you saved my life, it touches you in a way, man. Like it touches you in a way where you're just like, what? Like really? Yeah, like you saved my life. Like honestly, It's mad.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad.
Would you give your football career back for a world title?
No, I wouldn't. Do you know why? Because I don't. The only thing that I found hard was what I couldn't control in terms of my body and the injuries. I think I could have got a lot more out of the game if my body just didn't break down as it did. And that really messed me up, just the injuries alone. I done a massive interview with Kelly Holmes, and she spoke exactly in the same sort of light. Before she won her 2 gold medals, actually, I can't tell you. I'm going to leave it there.
How did you get on with Barry Fry?
Can't tell you.
I meant to ask
Barry
about-
was cool, you know. Like, yeah, he treated me like a superstar, to be honest. He might as well built a statue for me when I first come. The way he talked like when he's got a player, he's bought a player and he's bringing him in, and you know he's funny, man. He's funny. Yeah, he's funny. Worst team talks ever, but the passion around it when he was in it. Another one, he just let me be free. He knew I could do it, especially at that level, going a couple of leagues down. So he was just like, just go and do your thing, mate. just fucking go and do your thing. I was like, all right, mate, cool. But yeah, to be fair, my ratio was like 1 in 2 at Peterborough.
Yeah.
Is that where you were happiest?
Not necessarily. I'd say from the happiest would be Norwich, because I got to actually play Premiership football for a whole season, really. Only, unfortunately, we got relegated. But I learned a lot about, you know, when you've not played Premiership, when you finally I had a Premiership experience at 18 when I was at Palace. And I came off the bench one time against like Arsenal and Coventry, and like Tony Adams was playing then, you know, Martin Keane, they was all playing then. I was like a little boy lost. Like I was nowhere ready for Premiership football. It was just like, you know, like it was surreal. That was at 18 years old. So I always had a bit of a doubt, thinking like, if I ever get back there again, am I good enough?
Will it be too much for me?
Am I good enough? That's, you know, so when I finally got my chance, I didn't start in the Premiership with Norwich. I took about, Matthias Svensson was starting ahead of me at that particular time. And about 5 games in, we get Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And Matty comes off, I go on. For my mentality is like, I'm grabbing this with both hands, but I went on, and yeah, it literally I'd say changed my life in terms of the belief that I had in myself. Done really well that game, never looked back, and I gradually started building. My first goal was against Everton. A really great game then, yeah, playing against like Stubbs and that. Yeah, just some great memories, you know, scoring against Man City, playing against like, you know, Distan, and then the Man United goal would probably be my most sort of famous goal in you know, for sort of that sort of level. And then you get some sort of belief, and obviously having players, you know, my partner was Dean Ashton, who was a fantastic player. Again, he had his career cut short via injury. It is just like, it's such a thin line, you know, what people don't realise. So yeah, I had some beautiful experiences, some beautiful moments. So it only really, if I could get rid of the injuries, no, I wouldn't change it. If I become a world champion in boxing, again, another industry that's very, very lonely and cutthroat.
Yeah.
Probably worse. You know, there ain't no medical help like that there is like in football, how there is in boxing. You know, once you finish boxing, if you ain't in that GB squad matchroom kind of setup.
Yeah, we're all looking after each other.
The matchroom setup is the best. Eddie Hearn's the best.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, where he can take you if you have that about you and you have that ability and so forth. But at the end of the day, every promoter is a businessman. So none of them are your best friend.
Yeah.
When you are no longer
Making them the money.
when you're no longer accessible and you're no longer in that environment that they're in, you won't. That's you.
You're gone.
Very, very rare that you get someone. Darren Barker, who's a real good guy, is falling into a bit of a matchroom setup because he's got a very good relationship with Eddie Hearn. But that relationship's a bit unique. That won't happen with every fighter that wins a world title and falls into something where they're happy after. You know, you see Darren now, he's a very happy man, very peaceful, won a world title, world champion, you know what I mean?
Content.
Very content, you can see it. But not every fighter has that. Not every fighter has that dream, you know? A lot of fighters lost. I do another interview in my film with Errol Bomber Graham. It's very sad. Very sad. You know, that's a former champion as well, and
Unscratchable itch.
very sad. Huh?
The unscratchable itch once they've been at the top.
Just hard. Same thing with Ricky. I mean, Ricky's coming back to do something now, isn't it? So you always see the patterns of you know that that comeback. You know, he's getting back. He's losing weight again. He's back. It's fantastic to see that drive. But the sad thing about it is that we need something to always try and grab onto.
Yeah.
But the point is that we're not always going to be able to do that. And you got to understand to let it go. If you don't, then it's always going to have hold of you. Always. So that's what I've learned.
Brilliant, mate. I really enjoyed
Thank
that.
you very much for coming. Glad you
Yeah,
are.
we appreciate it, mate.
All right, guys, see you later.
We'll get puffing. And what's with this fucking t-shirt?
It's hot in that. Did you get on with Gary Docherty, by the way?
Yeah,
What a fella,
for
man.
Pele.
Ginger Pele.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I haven't seen him for years, you know.
He's in Texas now.
Is he?
That was
He's
his
coaching?
dream, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, good for
He's
him.
moved
man.
over there.
Brilliant.
I
Brilliant.
imagine it's the best weather for him. When he's got the old cap on. You know.
With his hip hop and that, man.
I always ask though if anybody's played with Sasa Serchik, what he were like. 'Cause,
I played with Sasha, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
good guy.
Oh, he's mad.
Off the
Mad. Like, he was funny. Serbian.
yeah,
Yeah,
one
so
Serbian big brother.
that's correct. Yeah. I saw him. You know what? It's interesting as well, because I saw him several years ago. He was doing some stuff at Palace and that anyway. When I played with him at Palace, we was going through a bit of a administration process. It was a bit of a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. And he was, he good player, but a loose cannon, you know, very like crazy. But he'd admit that he's very kind of real to what he is. He's just how he is. But unfortunately, Serbia was going through a bit of a situation. I know like he had they were going for a bit of a war situation. Civil war, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And he was a mess, mate.
yeah,
Yeah, he was a mess. He was a mess.
very patriotic, proud of.
Yeah,
proud of
he was
his
a
roots.
mess. He was a mess. So yeah, it was hard. And I saw him in Marks and Spencer's one time, and he I mean I didn't recognise him, but he called me and he was like Leon. I was like, oh, how you doing, mate? You right? I thought he just knew me or whatever. And I'm looking at him closer, and he's like, you don't remember me, do you? Like that, because I haven't seen him for years, you know what I mean? And he's like, it's Sasha, like that. And I was like, and we just was like, yeah, just hugged each other. Obviously, like he was telling me about Big Brother then he won it, done all his money. It's like, mate, you've not learned anything. Do you know what I mean? But it was in a good place doing stuff for Palace, and he's doing all right, man. So yeah, it's funny you said that. Yeah, he's all right.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Really
mate. Top
appreciate
man.
it. Really enjoyed it.
Wicked, man.
Get that aircon on now, man.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah, I was starting to sweat there. I was like, jeez.